right. Well, hello, everybody. I am coming to you today from the seclusion of my truck. So hopefully, even more than last week, we'll have good reception. I want to let you guys know that depending on how many people hop on, I have everybody muted and videoed off. But if we can get the bandwidth and it's a small enough group, you can also raise your hand. I can unmute you. You should be able to type in the chat box. Because this is a live experiment of sorts, I want to make sure that we do get good quality. So just so you know, we'll see how the interaction goes. I have some stuff I want to share with you today. And then also, like I said, you can raise your hand and you can type in the chat box if you have any questions. And then if you would like to share your video, you can let me know that as well. So let's get started. So this is called In 5D. And as I mentioned in the first gathering, we're in multiple dimensions at the same time. So the fifth dimension is ultimately where we're headed. But I want to, since we live in this physical world, I also want to just spend a little bit of a light touch on what's going on in the third and fourth dimension. So 3D world, as you likely know right now, is going through a lot of turmoil. And as I mentioned last time, that points us to the potential for change. So we're being given a gift, and it's a challenging gift right now. And you might find yourself wavering between feeling extremely calm and then just feeling really, really, really keyed up and really challenged. And our challenge is really to bring our presence to everything. And by I say our presence, I mean our consciousness. So, we're all getting invited to release some potentially stuffed feelings or to understand how we deal with trauma or shock. We're also remembering that we can choose peace, we can choose stillness, we can ultimately choose love. And we get to really, what's coming to mind is we get to see the outdated programming that's up for release. So a lot of humanity, myself, ourselves included, have been running around with this old programming. And but for this virus and a couple other changes that are coming this year, we'd likely just keep humming along on autopilot. And what's happening right now in the physical world is really helping us to see those aspects that are up for upgrade. And I think of it as the outdated programming in our collective. So this means that we have the potential for a really huge awakening ultimately. And the message that's come through in so many sessions this week is just patience, and that's really the message for me too. There's not a quick fix through this. And we get to see that we're going to be first feeling fear at different times, depending on where we're at and what we've signed up for. But ultimately, we're going to get clarity, and we're going to go through a process of change in the physical world. And this is really cool because the 3D world and the 5D world are integrating. So let's get to the fourth dimension just for a moment. 4D is astral. 4D is that beyond the physical, but not quite in the realm of oneness. So we get to this time during what came through for this week is really for us to look at what we're doing energetically, how we're being energetically, because ultimately that is the astral training ground. And for a group that I was with earlier this week, and the message still holds, no resistance. Even if we feel called to resist the craziness and resist the news and resist the people who are hoarding, we also get to just really kind of hold some compassion for everyone and everything. And really, when we can, take a deep breath and know that our energetic offering is the best thing that we can do for the field. And so that means really not resisting anything and preparing for 5D, which is this no separation. And it's okay if you feel tired right now. It's definitely in the astral. We are all connected. So let yourself, not linearly, even if you don't understand what's happening, go with those energetic impulses. That is part of our intuition. And so, rest when we need to, lean in a little bit more versus resist, and know that you can stay grounded. There's a grounding practice that we're going to do at the end of our time together today. Really, it's an invitation for us to move beyond fear. And we're in times of, transformation, but I ultimately believe it's transmutation. So the exciting part comes in 5D, and I just love that 5D is where we're headed. As I said, it's oneness. So right now, our planet is being just inundated and bathed with light. And it's interesting to just consider this for a moment, that it's a certain type of frequency, and it's 5D, 40 hertz, gamma waves of light. And this is cool because we can take our metaphysical take on it, but it's also going to integrate with science. So I want to just first start with what we know about frequencies. So 40 hertz is just a frequency. It's known to affect the human system. That's what I'll share some brainwave research with us. But, sound and light at 40 hertz promotes what's known as gamma brainwave activity in human beings. So you've probably heard of, the delta state. Delta state in terms of brainwaves is less than 4 hertz. And hertz is just cycles per second. So that could be a light wave or a sound wave cycle. And delta is when we're asleep. It's a super deep, dreamless sleep. So this is all, I'm just pulling from modern science for a second, but I think it'll help us really integrate it. So then we have theta. Theta is 4 to 7 cycles or hertz per second, and that's deeply relaxed. It's often associated with the type of sleep we call REM sleep or deep meditation. So that's a certain type of brainwave that we know about. And alpha is 7 to 13 hertz or cycles per second. That's just when we feel calm. It's a state of relaxation. It's a state of, we're alert, but we're in a state of rest. And then we have beta. Beta is 13 to 39 hertz cycles per second. That's when we're alert and we're focused and we're active and our minds are processing information, we're concentrating. Excuse me. And then finally, gamma is relatively recently discovered, and gamma is what's known as high performance in our energetics. So it's sometimes thought of as an enhancement of the beta state that is our alert state, but I think it really points us to the 5th dimension, because what scientists have said, what they call it is, they call it the state of high performance. It's a state of super active mental activity, all sorts of higher order processing, and it almost overlays itself over our alert beta state to supercharge us when we're in this state of gamma. That's when we, beautiful problem-solving mechanisms come to us. Things come out of the blue, a state of heightened intuition. So gamma is already known as 40 hertz, and it really easily integrates with this concept of 5D, because it's these abilities that we've forgotten about because we've been unplugged for so long. So I think it's a really exciting time to consider that we're being inundated with this frequency right now. And it's not just us, it's our planet. Our planet is a reflection of us. But one of the things that's happening is we have ley lines in the earth. We have a grid that our planet, that, some people know about it, ancients know about it. It's how the megalithic sites were built. But what's happening right now is it's an overlay. So 3D gets to stay, and there's still going to be this drama that's being played out. But if you think about something being laid over And it's almost like a crystalline energetic grid is being laid over the 3D grid of our planet. So as the old systems are going to be phased out, which is kind of what we're being shown in the world, there's a new structure that's already being put in place, so that there's not going to be any kind of chaos. It's going to be just this super easy, ultimately, by the end of the year, sort of fall into order. So, this dance of fear that's going on right now is eventually going to, the walls are going to fall down, and we're going to see how connected we are. And so I want to also touch on, I said this waking up of humanity. Depending on which ancient tradition you're talking about, the Yuga cycles talk about it. And I'm sure you've all heard of, the 12-stranded DNA that we potentially have, and that was sort of unplugged. And, I sort of see it as we haven't lost the ability. It's just that it's like the receptor sites are there. It's like the ports in your computer, but it's just there's nothing plugged in. So we're starting to come online with this 12-strand DNA. And this is exciting because I think it's related. I feel it's related to the gamma light. It's related to the gamma frequency, this super magical, high order superpowers is how I think about it. And that's the best way we can think about it, because we have gone through so many lifetimes that we've forgotten what we're capable of. So this is also excuse me, this is linked to ascension. This is what, many people call ascension, this sort of massive awakening of our planet and of humanity on the planet. And I think many of us know, you can kind of hear in the background, like, this lifetime, and you can feel like this rush of energy. It's like, yes, that's actually potentially true. Well, if that's the case, then how's that going to look? Well, we're starting to get a glimpse of how this is going to look. And when you think about, I think those of us who are gathered, have this sense of we've been seeding the collective these new ideas, these new thoughts, and knowing that what we're seeding, trusting the process of manifestation, what we seed will ultimately pop itself into the physical world. So that's also what's starting to happen. There's some things that are really starting to pull themselves into the third dimension. If you think about the fact that a lot of these inventions have already been around, it's just that they've been blocked politically from, free energy, for example. And so we're really some of these things I think are really going to be able to come online. And as humanity is really able to look at our mother planet as an extension of ourselves. So amidst this chaos, we have this massive influx of 5D gamma light, and we can already kind of see it in our neighborhoods. We can see it in the people that are interested in awakening. Even if we're keeping 6 feet distance, where there's the depth of conversation is opening up. The communities, the families, the way that we're able to, even today, choose that, oh, hey, I want to hop online and spend time with a group of people that are interested in, potentially the light spots of what's happening, and the deeper truths. I think we really do want to open our hearts, and we're feeling that welling, and that is part of this influx of light. It's part of our awakening. So where do we go next? The other part of the awakening is that it's happening from without, like this light's being beamed down, but we also know, the principle of as above, so below. So we're also going through a deeply personal internal change when we realize that, we're the ones that are going to change first, and we're going to, as we lighten up, I've talked about this in podcasts before, as we lighten up, we offer that light to the world. And so we're all in this sort of rebirthing transmutation phase. So it simultaneously, we're supported from the outer things that are happening. And we're also having this time where we really do get to have this deeply internal introspection and opportunities for new ways of seeing things ourselves. So also as within means that our DNA is, I mentioned this 12-stranded DNA is coming online. And that's also an internal, a deeply internal, it just seems to me to be like, it's almost like this super subatomic that we can't even really comprehend change as we're coming online to these 12 strands of DNA, excuse me. So I wanted to mention an interesting experiment that I came across about gamma light, just to also kind of loop a little bit of science in. There was a scientist in Russia, I believe, and what they beamed gamma light at embryos of one species or something like this. And the 24 hours of this gamma light, they were able to shift the DNA so that one species of something became another species. So gamma light, they've already kind of shown that this light, not only is it associated with higher order processing in our human brain, but it's, if you want to talk about massive upgrades, it's capable of doing miraculous things. So I just kind of want to invite us now to consider that we're capable of so much more than we realize. And oh, the other thing I want to share before we get into the DNA, how that might look, I'm sure you guys have heard of the word starseed. And for me, starseed just kind of means, people, I think that those of us gathered are very likely those who know that, we've had many lifetimes on this planet and that we're also connected to collectives that are in other parts of our galaxy, that we have this sense of being from somewhere else and sort of being in many ways plopped on the planet, and we can almost see those thought patterns that don't serve because we don't always integrate with them. So as we come into this gamma light thing that's going on the planet, there's two orders, at least two, I see them, of awakening. So if you consider yourself potentially a star seed, you're going to be just becoming an awakened star seed. So even the people that have had these lifetimes in other parts of the galaxy, when we came in, we likely we forgot. We also unplugged our DNA, or that's just part of what's happening. So as we're going to become these awakened beings, and the human beings also are going to become awakened and enlightened humans. And whether or not you think of star seeds, I like to think of, us as way showers. It's almost like you're going through the Amazon jungle and somebody has to carve the path with the machete, and then somebody has to make that path wider so that more people can walk. And I really do think that's what's happening, is we're widening this path so that humanity, as many humans as want to, can come and join us after. So we're all awakening. We're all going through this process of awakening. It's just there's different levels of understanding and connecting to what that awakening is about. Okay, so I want to get to next DNA. I did a little meditation. Sure, I touch on all this. So I mentioned it's an activation. It's a reconnection. So if we think of our DNA as potentially having 12 strands, and these the connection points weren't removed. It's almost just like the cords were cut in some sense. And I mentioned that this is kind of in sync with the grander scheme of time. In Hindu, they call it the Yuga cycles. It's the great year of time. It's also what, if we look at the relationship between Sirius and our sun, Sirius is our central sun. As Sirius gets closer to our sun, there's more light codes coming through on the planet. So this light potentially is this gamma light, which is supporting us in awakening and remembering the structure of our DNA. So what would this look like? I'm going to see if I can share my screen with you guys. I'm relatively new to this, so just hang tight. And if I can't share the screen, I'm going to keep talking anyway. I actually am going to keep talking. Pardon me while I look around on my computer screen. But if you consider that, one of the ways to consider how it might look is how our energetic field looks, the toroidal energy field. So, if you think of the shape of an apple and how it kind of goes up and out and down and out, that's how the human energy field looks, right? And we have our chakras in the center of our body. We have chakras that are below and above. And while we do know 7 chakras, I'm going to offer that there potentially will be 12 chakras. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to share, I've got my, so hopefully you can see, I don't know what you can see. I think hopefully you can see this Taurus man. This is how the human energy field looks. And the chakras we're plugged into every part of that field. So it's not just a one, like there's not just one energy field. There's so many different, and you can see how there's the light pink and there's the peach color and then there's the indigo blue. So there's many layers, or they're almost like gossamer threads that are energetic cords that are running through our field. So let me see if I can pull up the next one. So here, hopefully you can see a man and a woman, and it's a different version of the human energy field. So this is potentially the 12 chakra model. There might be 11 or 12. I didn't really count here, but you can see the traditional 7 that we know that are modernly understood, at least. I've personally experienced at least 9 in my body, and I think that maybe potentially this is part of the awakening. As we wake up to our energy centers, we are going to be able to understand what these chakras do. But if you think about, each chakra is also interacting with our toroidal energy field. So this one kind of just shows these different ways. You can see that the lines, the pink and the blue, how energy is cycling, not just, in this apple shape, but it's all through our field. Let me show you another version of what this might look like before I get to next statement. So then we have this guy, the man surrounded by orange. I like this one because it also shows these 7 chakras. And so if you consider that the toroidal energy field is the crown chakra, or the top chakras kind of go up and out, but the ones that are contained in the center of the body, instead of going up and out, they're going forward and back. So we have, our heart chakras coming up the front of our body, and then also the energy goes out the back of the body, and it cycles around the entire energetic field. And I'm going to get to how this is linked to the DNA in just a second. I want to share one more image with you guys. I hope I'm doing this. If I'm not doing it right now, I'm going to definitely, before I upload the video, I'll make sure that you can see these images. So this is an image from Meg Benedicta. I love this one because it's got so much going on. But you can see the toroidal energy shape, that kind of apple shape, right? But you can see all these different kind of energetic lines that are linked, that are part of our field. So let's hang out here for a second. And if we consider that our DNA, every strand of our DNA might potentially be linked with an energetic center. And so we're not just on a, subatomic micro level, as above, so below, but we're this big energetic field. So our DNA is potentially, as we come online with this 5D gamma infusion of light, our chakras are actually being more fully activated and plugged in and able to communicate with our energetic field. So you can consider 7, and 7 might be plenty for us right now. I always tell spirit, give me just enough so that I can handle, but keep me, balanced and grounded and a happy human in this lifetime. So I think, that's why also we're being told to be patient with the process and to understand that ultimately we really are going to find ourselves in a better place and a brighter place, but remembering all these abilities. So that's what's really potentially happening right now, which is, if you think about the DNA strand as it's being plugged into an aspect of our DNA, like a USB cord is being plugged into a hub or a port on our computer. It's also being plugged into and activated in these filaments, these sort of gossamer thread lines that you can see in this image that I'm sharing. They're starting to light up. They're starting to run energy through our field. And it is this activation. It's simultaneously a DNA activation, it's a chakra activation, and it's this activation of our superpowers is the best way that I can start to think about it. And I might have more to share next week. My brain gets really full with all the new information, and then I just know I need to share it. But yeah, so we have extra abilities that are coming online. If you think about, we barely understand the 7 chakras. I personally love that I have a third eye, and I know that mine is active. I also know that I'm just chipping at the tip of the iceberg with my third eye, and that if we potentially have 12 energetic centers, then we've got so much to look forward to and to expand about. So let's get to a little bit of an activation and a meditation. And I know that one of the things that came through is going to be a way for us to stay grounded. And also I want to see if we can start to get an experience of this DNA. So why don't just go ahead and close your eyes and sit with a straight spine, or if you want to take a second to lie down with a straight spine. Breathe in through your nose and breathe out through your mouth. And now imagine your root chakra right at the base of your spine. It's extending energy down and out. And we're going to experience 2 chakras right now. So we have a root chakra, which is part of the 7. We also have an earth star chakra, which exists below our feet, which already brings us up to 8 chakras. So this is where the earth knows us and we know her. And that's right at the very edge of your energetic field. So both chakras can kind of send an energetic cord down through the layers of soil. And you can imagine as both your root chakra at the base of your spine and the earth star chakra at the bottom of your field, maybe beneath your feet or just right at the edge of your energy field. They're both sending a cord down into Mother Earth. And this cord, it might look like a single cord, or it might start to branch out and look a little bit more like tree roots. So this is your energetic connection to Mother, to our Earth Mother. And just notice how far down you feel intuitively, like extending your roots. During this time of transformation, you might feel instinctively the need to really deeply root down. Or you might just feel safe going down a few feet. Know that this is your safe space. This is your birthright. You get to come home to Mother Earth whenever you want, and just feel that she feels you, she knows you. You might even connect to her core if you want to go down that far. But just kind of feel that comfort, that light that's coming up into your energetic cord that you sent down, or into your energetic roots, and just allow yourself to commune with Mother. And there's a Peruvian shaman that I've done a little bit of work with. He likes to say, Gaia is this living, breathing being, and she's agreed for everything that's happening right now. She's only letting things happen that are for her ultimate highest good, which is our ultimate highest good. So see if you can kind of just feel this sense of protection and support from Mother. And she wants us to know that we can come here whenever we need, especially during these times of transformation, to release. You can release through this energetic cord or through these energetic roots. You can receive also, you can just receive nourishment. And now notice how you feel in your body. Hopefully there's a sense of centeredness and of well-being. And then notice also your energetic field. And notice how you feel about coming online to the DNA activation, to 12 energetic centers. And this isn't going to be an instantaneous activation. This is going to be a gentle, easy. I've spoken about the water rebirth that we're going through at the end of the year, or towards the end of the year. So as we come online to our 12 chakras, maybe you feel a little bit of, trepidation, like that caterpillar not really ready yet to come out of the chrysalis. And maybe you kind of get this sense of, you always knew you had these superpowers. You always knew there was more. There's no wrong way to entertain this idea. So we're just going to kind of observe how we feel energetically about the potential of new awakenings within us, new abilities. And notice if there's any images of the ones that I shared. I hopefully shared. I will definitely share in the recording of how our energetic field might look, how it might function, how we might already have these energetic cords, some of them coming online. And notice how you feel now in your heart center. Our hearts are definitely being activated and upgraded. And see if you can feel that your heart center, I mentioned it, it's almost like an ice cream cone shaped vortex forward out the front of our chest and backward out the center of our back where our heart is. And see if you can feel your heart center just kind of whirring or spinning and just lighting up and sending light to your entire field. So this meditation, this activation is less about us in the world right now. It's really about us being invited to come to understand ourselves, because this is our time of internal understanding so that we can feed the field more light. So just notice this sense of peace and love as you can feel your heart lighting up and nourishing your field as if it wants to communicate. It wants you to know that it's always working, that it's always giving and receiving light. Now bring your awareness to your third eye, right at the center of your forehead. And again, just imagine forward and backward, there's this sort of ice cream cone shaped vortex that's interacting with your energetic field, sending energy forward and back. And notice if you can feel the light that's coming in. It's being fed to us on our planet. And also your third eye has been wired for this for millennia. So as the third eye is opening more, maybe you see white light, maybe it's the traditional indigo light. Notice what else you sense or see. And notice if your third eye is also kind of showing you all the light beings that are out there right now, here with us, in the astral, in the fifth dimension. They're also interacting in the third dimension, but just if you can see beyond the physical world, the mass gathering of, I just see them as light beings. If you don't see that, don't worry about it. We're each unique. And now notice your physical body. This is where the DNA activation is happening, really in the third dimension. See if you can kind of feel this hum as even within these energetic centers that we're connecting to right now, that we're connecting to them with an openness of sort of just saying maybe, yes, thank you. I want to know more. Bring me more light, information, energy about my purpose and my abilities. So there's this kind of humming that's happening on the subatomic level. And let's go to one more energetic center. So we have our main 7 centers that many of us know about. There's also one that exists at the very edge of the top of our energy field. This is often called the soul star chakra. So even with this gathering today, we can consider that we have not only the 7 root to crown, but we have the earth star chakra below at the edge of our field and the soul star chakra above at the top of the field. That has 9 energetic centers coming online potentially. So go to the top of your aura. And just this is where our true soul interacts with our energetic field, which interacts with our physical world. So just go there, and it's almost like a cosmic galaxy spinning right there at the top of the field. Notice what you see, what colors of light. It's likely going to be beyond words, but just entertaining that you have this energetic center, this soul star chakra. It's often associated with the colors. Some people see silver, golds, rainbow light, sparkles. Some see, like I said, this sort of galaxy just sort of rotating right at the top of your field. Nothing to do, just sort of interact with it as if you're just saying hello, casually having a cup of tea. There's this very gentle process. But as we interact with this energetic center, right here in our 3D world, we're inviting it to show us a little bit more of what it's here to support us with. And here, this feels almost like the humming gets stepped up a little bit. Still very calming, but it's just potentiating us for our future. So just simply basking in these knowings. And this soul star chakra right at the top of your head is also feeding your field, interacting with every single one of your cells, every other one of your chakras, all of your aura. And I see it as these fine energetic threads or lines that are just interwoven through our entire energetic field. All right. So this I'm getting is just an introduction. It's just an introduction of what's possible for our planet, of what's possible for every single one of us. All right. Anybody have any? Well, let's take a second to just bring yourself back. Bring yourself back into your body. Maybe open your eyes if you'd like. Take all the time you need to come back. And notice if you feel sort of beyond words better for knowing or entertaining these ideas, entertaining that this is what's happening right now in our world. So just taking a deep breath, maybe even thanking Mother Earth, thanking your heart, thanking yourself. I'm getting the sense that we might not necessarily want or need to have a conversation here today, but if anybody has anything they want to comment on, you're welcome to comment. Otherwise, let's just take a couple breaths. And again, what's coming through is just knowing that you're better for having spent time with this information right now. Thank you guys. Thank you for spending time with me. I am so forever grateful for each and every one of you, for this sense of community, global community, and that we really are all connected. So yes, spend time with yourself right now. Let everything come up, lean in a little bit, and know that, oh, Brent says, thank you, enjoyed. You're totally welcome, Brent. Thanks for the comment. Oh, Jenny says, thank you, Lisa, so much love. Yay, I love you guys. Yeah, this is really cool. This is community. This is community beyond the ways that we've known. And again, this is just the party. This universe is just getting the party started, really. And one of the messages that came through really early, we'll close with this. When I was feeling this sort of world war energy change coming, Spirit was very clearly saying nothing to fear. It's not that anyone's better than anyone else, but know that you're going to be held and you're going to be supported and you're not going to be affected by it. It's a choice right now. And I really do think that we're all going to be able to shine brightly for ourselves first right now, but ultimately for others as an act of service and for our planet. So yay. I know that we're going to have at least one more of these gatherings. We'll see how I know. So I know we have next Saturday because Spirit definitely showed me at least 3 gatherings. And I think we'll have a better sense of the state of the 3D world next Saturday. So hopefully you guys can join me. Thank you, everybody. I love you guys. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you again next week. Tons of love.